Hi there, Capricorn, and welcome back to another edition of Astrological Moments. Today we're here to talk about the big event that is taking place this week. January 20th is the big day. It's the final curtain for Capricorn. First of all, what I want to say is congratulations to any of you Cappies who have made it through this very, very tumultuous time of Capricorn, Pluto and Capricorn for the past 15 years. It was in your first house, and during that time, you guys also went through a final descent. It has been a little bit of a rough go. To say a little bit is probably an understatement. Most of you Cappies would agree. However, I'm here with some news concerning the movement of Pluto. It is moving into your second house, Aquarius, which the second house rules the financial aspect. So the focus tends to be on whatever it's governing. So for you guys, second house, financial, material things, and self-worth as well, will be something that will be focused in on for the next 20 years. Now, let's talk a little bit about that, because when it comes to finances, no, it's not going to be one of those things that it's like every single Capricorn is going to become a millionaire overnight. It's not, although some may. It's not really what it's about. So let's get a little bit more in depth about what's going on with Pluto and ruling your second house for the next 20 years. First of all, I would like to share a little bit of an experience for myself when Pluto was in my second house. Back in 1995, it was running through my second house. And during that time, a lot changed. I was coming off of the first house, just like you guys, Scorpios were in that. And I had really transformed myself in the first house. Now I was coming into the second house, and I was kind of in the prime of my life, so I just sort of chalked it up back then to that. Is that, yeah, of course, this is why my focus had switched more to financial stuff. So it made sense to me. At that time, I had changed what I did for a living. I was working at a certain job for about 8 years prior to. And then what happened was that job was no longer available to me anymore. I had to find other ways. Now, while it was in my second house, I had a few different jobs, but I had the potential to make some big money. And I got into real estate at the time. So I purchased my first house, made a lot of money off of that purchase because real estate was really booming at that time. And then when Pluto moved into Capricorn in 2008, we all know what happened in 2008, the housing market crash. So by about 2010, it was no longer something that was bringing me the big bonus that it was during the time Pluto was in my second house. So I shared this experience to let you guys know that, expect some kind of fluctuations when it comes to your material goods when Pluto is in your second house. A lot of you have already changed your vocation. You're doing something different than you did before because perhaps your way of making a living had come to an end recently. Maybe when Pluto was in its final degrees in Capricorn, getting ready to move into your financial house. A lot of Capricorns had changed jobs or lost jobs unexpectedly, things like that. So now that it's in the second house, if any of you hadn't experienced any of those types of things, you may be, over the next year or so, be experiencing something like that. Don't freak out, because what happens is Pluto will give you other opportunities to make money. Now, you will be able to find other jobs that perhaps you can even make more money than you did before at the prior way you were making a living. You could invest in something that could pay off dividends. Now remember, Pluto is a very slow moving planet. So the best thing in order to build your wealth during this time would be things like, for me, it was real estate, right? I bought houses, lived in them for a while, fixed them up, and then sold them. That was sort of a long-term plan. So when it comes to investing in real estate, investing in anything, the stock market, what have you, it's best to stick with things that will bring up the dividends for you over a period of time. Now, yes, some of you can also come into some sudden really good luck with finances. You could via inheritance, things like that, or you could be coming out with something really unique. You could jump on some type of business or something like that, get in on the ground floor and be able to make a quick splash. But for the most part, you're better off, I would say, going into things that will increase in value as time goes on. So if you do encounter any reversals over the next little while in terms of your finances, you will quickly find a way to recover, especially if it's the way you make your living. You have to find another way to do it. You will absolutely be able to do that. You just have to sort of put it out there. Now, what's also going to happen when it's in your second house is it's going to affect your self-esteem to a certain extent. So it's good that we're coming off the first house, because the first house sort of transforms you and reformulates you as a human. So you come out of the first house like almost a completely different person than you were when you entered into it 15 years ago. So you take that almost new personality and you apply it to whatever it is you're going to be doing in the future to make money. Now, how you see material goods and finances may change. Capricorns a lot of times will like to accumulate wealth and put it into expensive material items, such as expensive cars, things like that. You may find that during this transit, you might not want to do that because you're reevaluating and reassessing what is important to you in terms of material goods, in terms of finances. You might find that, say, for example, if you were in a job for a lot of years where you were just doing it because you needed the paycheck or you wanted to make the money, but you didn't really like what you were doing, during this transit, you may find that you don't want to do that anymore. You may step away from that in order to do something that suits you better, that brings more joy and happiness into your life, that helps elevate your self-esteem. This is all about now doing the things that you truly enjoy in life, instead of, maybe you're taking a little bit of a pay cut to do it, but again, with the Pluto in your financial sector, chances are whatever you may lose, you'll end up making up in another area of your life. Say, for example, you have a job. It doesn't pay as well as your other job, but you like this job more. You could be investing on the side and perhaps build your wealth that way. You're going to be looking at like your whole value system is going to be completely changed by the time this 20-year transit is over and done with. You'll be looking back in 20 years from now saying, what just happened to me? I don't feel like the same Capricorn. Much like how you don't feel like the same Capricorn as you did 15 years ago, this way it'll be a little bit different, because this is going to be about your self-esteem. It's going to be about your material world, and your how you view finances and what you find value in may change completely. You may decide that you really love art and might want to collect art, for example, and then all of a sudden that art could one day, you didn't pay much for it, but all of a sudden one day it might become very valuable during the transit. It's those kinds of things. So I don't see Capricorn chasing their tail anymore like you have been over the last 15 years. I think things are going to be a lot different for Capricorn, as well as the maturity level will definitely be there. Now this spans all the age groups. So if you're watching this video and you're in your 20s, or if you're watching this video and you're in your 60s, the same thing applies. This is going to be affecting Capricorns across the globe of all ages. So this is just a transit you will now be going into. I bet you anything, though, most of my Capricorn viewers are more than happy to say goodbye to Pluto. You're very glad to take a bow and move on to something different. The energy already feels different. A lot of my Capricorn viewers have said that the energy in the air just feels different. And that is because this is a fresh new start. You're moving into it. It'll be in the early degrees of Aquarius. It'll switch back for a couple of months in the fall into Capricorn for a short stint, and then it'll move forward in November and full steam ahead for the next 20 years. But this is basically where it begins. So move forward with a new confidence, knowing that the lessons that the universe will be teaching you and all of the things you're going to be going through, at least it's going to be something different from what you've been living. A lot of you feel like you've been living in Groundhog Day, where it's just the same crap over and over and over again, year after year. Well, that's coming to an end. So breathe a sigh of relief for that one. And I want to wish you the best of luck going into the second house. I know myself, because I went through a first house and a second house transit of Pluto, and I really changed during those two transits. I completely transformed myself, and I actually really enjoyed it when it was in my second house. I breathed a sigh of relief, and I felt so much better. Learn to navigate what's happening here on the financial front in terms of, I would suggest, from personal experience, as well as from the knowledge I have of astrology, I think it's best to, when times are good during this transit, when you are making money, maybe you just get lucky with something, maybe you invent something and it becomes a multi-million-dollar business, whatever it may be, or you sell some of that art, or you do something, invest in something, and you get that big win. I would suggest you put it away in a safe place, save it, and make sure, because there can be extremes during this transit, right? So when times are good, squirrel away some of that newfound wealth and have it there ready in case there's a downturn, like what happened with me in the real estate game. So just a word of advice from me, your friendly neighborhood Capricorn loving astrologer. So just prepare yourself for a big change, because it is definitely coming in. The final curtain is now being drawn. So thank you very much. I really hope that you got some value from this video. If you did, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment. We want to hear from you, Capricorns. We want to hear your stories. We want to hear your opinions and your ideas on everything. So all I can say is take care, much love, namaste, Star Lourdes. Bye-bye for now.